They switch their INs, their ENs. So you may see it both ways. It does not affect how you pronounce it. Okay? For you, we have oo. For you plural, we have nu. He, she, and it, we have li. So you don't really know, like if they say li, if they're talking about he or she or it, except from the context of the sentence. So sometimes you may not know which one they're referring to. Looking at the pronoun chart, you have any questions? The last column is how they abbreviate it sometimes. Like, if you're going to say, m'vle manger, you can say moi vle manger, or you might just shorten it and say m'vle manger. It's just a shorter way, quicker way of talking to sometimes condense it. I have the numbers chart and days of the week. Like for the number 1, there's 3 different ways you might see it written. For yourself, you just need to know one of them, but you want to be familiar, if you see it, that that's what it is. So let's say the numbers together. I'll say it, you repeat it after me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For the number 1, if you're using the spelling Y-O-N or Y-O-U-N, you would pronounce that more yon. Like, yon bagay. I have one thing. Usually you're going to hear it pronounced that way. Days of the week, we have dimanch, lendi, madi, mekredi, jedi, vandredi, samdi. Okay? Today I also wanted to look at verb tense. You see your sheet on verb tense? Let's use the word manger, which is food or eat, if you're using it as a verb. So if you say, I eat, you would say, moi manger. I eat. If you've already eaten, you're going to put a te in front of that. I ate. If you have not eaten yet, you're going to do it in the future. M'pral manger.
How do you pronounce the middle word?
Pral. If you see on your chart, you add pral or va in front of it to make it future. If you're Jacob and you're continuously eating, it is map manger. You put an op. Okay?
What does that mean?
Continuing. I am eating. So we have moi manger, I eat. Moi te manger, I ate. Moi pro manger, I'm going to eat. Map manger, I am eating. Past progressive, you put a te up top. So I was eating would be moi tap manger. I was eating. Okay, let's practice that a little bit. Tell me a verb. Anybody think of a verb? How about domi, sleep? Oh, I didn't hear. What'd you say? Kuri, for run. Okay, so I run would be moi kuri. I ran, moi te kuri. How about I am running right now? Running. You got the right thought though. Mop kuri. I am running. What about I'm going to run? When pra kuri. Pra or va. They would understand either one. You'll learn there's kind of ones you use more than others, but kind of depends on if it's more of an action. I was running. Moi top kuri. Okay. Is that making any sense? Okay. I'd like you to look at your sheet where we had the little pine tree story. Did everybody, some of you may not have that. I'd like you to draw a square around any verbs in that paragraph. The verbs with their tense.
Because he doesn't carry anything with him. He's a carrying blade.
I'm not like this at school. I promise.
I'm like crazy. Ooh. I think it's better when I'm over there.
Okay, does everybody understand the assignment? You look at the paragraph about the little pine tree and draw a block around the verbs. Look for these tense markers. See if you see a verb with te in front of it, or prawl, or op.
Those are great. No, so it's just past tense.
I should be teaching this.
Well, it would be before. No, right?
Are you finding some?
Wow. And I've been here not that much. I've been here every week. Okay, I can do Spanish. So, yeah.
Okay, tell me some that you found. Tell us which line it's on and what it is. What's the first one, Courtney? Did you find one?
Maybe.
What do you think is one?
Tegen.
Okay. Tegen. That's making it past. Then on that same line, there's another one. Top. Okay. That's a contraction for te-op. Te-op kampe was standing. See, you can look then down at the English, and that'll help you to see what it is. So instead of saying te-op kampe, it's just abbreviated to top kampe. But if you said te-op kampe, they would understand what you meant. Okay, somebody see another one? We didn't do the ta, did we? Takwe is future tense, making it like would believe. I'm forgetting my English a little bit here. That may be called future something or other. How about the fourth line up from the bottom? Do you see one there? Te tris ampil. He was sad, or it. This is talking about a tree, so it was it. Or does it say he? Okay, in the story it's calling it a he, isn't it? Okay. But it could be he, she, or it. You just have to know from the context. But do you see what we're talking about? Li te tris ampil. He was very sad. Puki, se te paske. It was because, there you have the te. Okay, on the last line you have te again. So te is just making your verb past tense. Instead of having to learn a whole new verb, like we do in English sometimes, you just have to learn the word te to put in front of it. If you look at our word list for week 4, I meant to mark all the accent marks, and it looks like I got started and then got sidetracked and didn't remember to finish. So there's still a few of them that I'll tell you an accent mark. Pa makes a word negative. Like if you are not hungry, grangu is the word hungry. So if you're hungry, you say moi grangu. If you're not hungry, you would just say moi pa grangu. Okay, so just pa makes it negative.
And it always goes before.
Yes. I hesitate to use the word always because We may come across something that it doesn't, but off the top of my head, I think it would almost always anyway. Okay, we have and epi for the word and. Or epi means and. Say means is. Buy is give. Kapab can. Pran take. Tann wait. I just happened to think I'm doing like Dave's sermon, one of these people that talks real slowly to get on your nerves.
Oh, it's good.
Okay. In this instance, it's okay to talk slowly? Okay. Savon is soap. Na, that's said with a nasal sound, is in. And you've seen that word before too. Does anybody remember what else that is? Sometimes that's the article the, depending on what the word ending is. It can also mean in.
What we've also had TA and what was the TA? Was that
Yeah.
one, or was it?
No, AN or NAN. I don't remember TAN. Yeah. Doucement. Slowly. So, even after you learn a little Creole, you're talking to a Haitian and they talk very fast. So if you want them to slow down, you say, parlez plus doucement. Speak more slowly. PI means more. Panye is basket. Mamba is peanut butter. Lajan, money. So like if you want to say I have no money, moi pague lajan. You want to say that with me? Moi pague lajan. Pwason, fish. Bezwen, which really there should be an accent mark over that first E to the right so you know to pronounce it long sound. Bezwen, need. If you need money, if someone tells you they need money, they would say, bezwen lajan, I need money. Lapli, rain. Zouti, tool. Demen, those should have the accent mark going to the right, so you pronounce them the long sound. Demen, tomorrow. Bagay, sounds like you're saying bad guy, but you're saying bagay, thing. Me can mean but in a sentence, and it can also mean here. Now last week I told you the word isit means here, which it does. It depends on your sentence. Like if I'm presenting something to you, here it is, I would say many. is here in that instance. But if I want you to put something right here, I'd say meteli isit, isit. So if I'm talking about a specific place here, I would use isit. If I'm using here as in, here it is, I would use me.
Now with chita la, that was just sit then?
Shita is sit, and la means there. If you were wanting to sit right here beside you, you would probably, if you're pointing and say shita la, they'll know it'd be right here. But technically, the word for here is isit, and la is there. But if you say shita la, sit there. But if you were pointing and said shita la, they would know you meant right here. But technically, isit would be here. You don't even have to. If you just want, you could just say shita, just sit down. Jodia is today. Yeah is yesterday. Yeah. Avek is with. Can you tell me what this sentence is? Est-ce que vous voulez aller avec moi? Yep. Do you want to go with me? Gagner is have. Manger is used for food. It's also used as the verb to eat. We've already learned from the little pine tree story the word ville for town. You also will hear it said la ville. In fact, I think you'll hear la ville more often than ville. Kai means house, but they also use la kai. So you may hear it both ways. Okay. Let's read over the words one more time. Let's try to pronounce them with me. Epi, se, by, kapab, pran, tann, savon, na, dousman, panye, mamba, lajan, pwason, bezwen, lapli, zouti, demen, bagay, jodia, avek, manger, la ville, la caille. Easy, huh? Now you just have to learn what they mean. I was going to look a little bit further at the word buy, forgive. Where did I lay my marker?
She just said it right there.
Okay. We have buy, forgive. If you're putting it in front of a pronoun, you usually shorten it to ba. Or if it's going in front of moi, or na for the, it becomes bomb. So these are three different forms you'll hear of give. So like if you're telling them to give you something, you would say, ba moi, ba moi. If I was going to give something to Jacob, I'd say, ba li. But if I was using his name, Jacob, I would say, by Jacob. If I was using the pronoun, I would change it to ba.
So that would mean, like,
Bali would mean give it or give him. Okay, you have 2 worksheets. I'd like you to work together and try to do a couple on each worksheet, and then we'll go over them. You might have to look at some of your past word lists for some of the words.
I want to eat it. Translate to English. What's kapab? Wait. Tann. Tann means wait for me. Yeah, bomb. Oh, good. Wait for me. Wait for me. What's panye? Wait for me. Oh, wait for them. First minute, what is laws there, wait there, here. Wait, it's like this, here, wait here, wait here.
If you have a question, I'd be glad to help you. Holler it out.
What's yo?
They wait there. Oh, is it there?
Well,
I think, yeah.
tanyo actually means wait for them. Tanyo. If you're saying they wait, you say yo tan.
So wait for them there.
There.
Wait.
If you were saying here, you would say isit.
So wait for them here.
There.
They wait there?
Wait for them there.
See, there's not really a word in there for. That's just kind of understood.
Wait them. Oh, well, it's there. They go 3. Wait, what's good? I don't know. You're the one who the word. Was desk. Yeah, it's called desk. Here, okay, desk. What is it? Desk. Go 3 desks. Each chair. There are 3 chairs to each desk. No. You're already done there. It's supposed to say Taylor. Yeah. I thought Jacob would be able to help us. Yeah, Jacob could.
I'm waiting on you guys.
What is it? Why don't we always come? Alright, I got number 3. What is it? No, I said I got number 3. Oh. Work on it. That's what I do in Spanish. So, but what's men mean? 1, 3 office.
Men?
Like, give me it.
That means here or but.
Here's not that. So 3 office. They want 3 office. Here is my mom and dad. It's like they want.
Where are the handouts? Oh, okay. So Dave can get some.
Yeah, they want 3. This is each. This is chairs. This is desk. They want 3 chairs. Three. That's what Sean is. Oh yeah. 3 chairs, 3 desks in each room. They want.
Y'all are getting it, I hear you.
They want 3 something desks in each room. Yeah. 3 desks.
Walk right in front of the camera.
And non is and, right? Or
Is that what it is?
non is the too. What do you say? Jodia today gave me I have a lot of work today. Ask her about something. I have a lot of work. What's info? Until it's very. I have very work today. I have much work. Yeah, I have a lot of work today. Isn't that come? Viennese come. Come with. It doesn't translate. Will. Yeah, they will come with it. They.
Escouve, do you want to go?
Well, he, she, or it. Lee is he, she, or it. They will come with he, she, or it. Yeah, I would say he. Him. I want to be him, her, or it.
Okay, does every table have 1 or 2 you can do for the rest of us?
I want to eat a banana.
If you're not finished yet, you can finish them at home, but I'd like to just go over a few of them, everybody together. So Madison and Courtney, do y'all have one you want to share with us?
We have 6.
Which one?
Which one do you want to do? Let's do number 3. Yeah, we'll do 3.
They're going to do sentence number 3. Are you doing Creole to English? Is that the one you're on? Okay. Why don't you stand up and read it for us so we can hear you real well. Read the Creole and then tell us what it says in English.
Okay. Why do I have to stand up? Okay. I don't know. Would it be yo or yeah?
Yeah, yo. Yo vle trois bureaux non chaque chambre. And what's that mean?
They want 3 desks in each room.
Very good. They want 3 desks in each room. Does everybody see that? Do y'all have one at your table you want to share? I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. Kayla. Okay. You have one you want to tell us?
Or give her a mic.
Give her a mic. Okay.
Hey, I ate 7 bananas. Oh, did we have number in there?
For the one that's English to Creole, the I am not sick. I have win pa malad.
Wait, I ate.
Did y'all hear that? Moi pa malade. Who's a volunteer at this table? Just pick one that you want to read and tell it to me.
Just one from the list. Okay. One te manger cette figuier. Banana. Yes.
How many bananas?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Taylor writes like this.
Okay, she read the sentence, Moi te manger cette figuier. I ate 7 bananas yesterday. Who's our volunteer here? You want to receive?
Okay, that's how you can
Give John the good
stand. I suppose the question too.
Okay, she's doing the very first one.
Give John the good
Very good. Did you hear? Bagay bon mamba. Give John the good peanut butter. Who's doing this table? Hey, I can use one of the sentences for this table. Moi, mama, et papa, moi. Here's my mother and father. They're very brave souls. They rode with me the very first time I drove the Jeremy Road. They didn't know any better. Okay. One of y'all got one?
Moi gagne un pile travail jodia. I have a lot of work today.
So how do you feel about that?
Okay.
Just starting to come together a little bit? If you want to finish the worksheets at home, if you didn't get them finished, I put my email address on there, and if you want to send me what you have, and I can help you with it if you made any mistakes, or let you know if you got it right, and that way you can know if you're on the right track.
Is there two ways to say yes? You have we, and then there's an O, U, I.
Those are both we. It's just spelled differently depending on how you see it spelled.
Oh, okay.
She's asking about the word we for yes. You might see it spelled O-U-I, or you might see it spelled W-I. Same thing. That's what I was saying earlier. There's lots and lots of words that you're going to see spelled two different ways. And you may see me doing them different ways, even on your worksheets. It's just whichever way pops in my head first, or which way I'm probably the most used to seeing it. Because there's Creole is just written in different ways if it's older or newer Creole.
Is that the same for when as well? Is there different ways to spell that?
Moi can be M-O-U-I-N or M-W-E-N. Or like the word for drink, boy, can be B-O-U-E, or it can be B-W-A.
But they're pronounced the same.
Yeah. I wouldn't tell you both to confuse you, except that you're going to see it written both ways. So, yeah. I said B-W-A, it's B-W-E, boy. B-W-A, bois is tree, wood. Okay. Let's go over the words of our song, and then we're going to sing it. Est-ce que vous voulez aller la kai papa moi? Then I added this today. Gagner, joie, joie, joie. That means you have joy, joy, joy. Okay? Est-ce que vous voulez aller la kai papa moi? La kai papa moi, la kai papa moi. Est-ce que vous voulez aller la kai papa moi? Gagne joie, joie, joie. Wow. What's what? La foi. La foi c'est pour moi. I'm not sure exactly. I have to look what you're saying. Can you spell it? La foi. Let me look that up. Joie. It might be saying another word for joy that I'm not familiar with. Because I would usually learn one way of saying something and stick with it. But just like in English, there's lots of different ways to say the same thing. And they mix a lot of French in with it, so they might be using French terms. So. Okay, does anybody have any questions over what we went over today? We're not going to have class next week because of Easter. So you've got 2 weeks to study. You've got 4 word lists now. You have a pronunciation chart. You have a pronoun chart. You have a verb tense chart. You have an article chart. A lot of charts to help you learning how to put your sentences together. So email me with any questions, and when we come back in 2 weeks, I think we'll have a little quiz to start off. Just a fun quiz, but just to see, kind of what you're picking up and keeping in mind. Merci beaucoup. Nawe pita tout le monde. See you later, everybody.
Like this.